on, give me on air. There we go. All right, on air live. All right, here we go. Ready?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Fuck. Hold on. I forgot what I say. Okay, here we go. Ready? Take two. All right, how we doing, Weird Science? This is Brandon. I'm coming at you with Trevitt for this week's Marvel Minute. Trevitt, how we doing, man?
Pretty damn good.
All right. Well, this week, based on what the people say, we're going to be covering Iron Fist #1, and that's written by Ed Brisson. We got art team on the issue of Mike Perkins and Andy Troy. Of course, that's a Marvel Comics publication. And we're going to get into this little blurb here before we spit the bit about this latest #1 issue to drop from Marvel. So most of you guys out there probably know a little something about the basics of Iron Fist, or at the very least more than you did 2 weeks ago at this point. So this story picks up with a lost Danny Rand facing the likelihood of life without his power and a destroyed Kunlun. He can, however, still kick some ass. So with that knowledge, let's check out Iron Fist #1 and see what the protector of a now destroyed Kunlun is up to. So did that I mean, before we get into the issue here, what do you know about really kind of Iron Fist? Did you know that Kunlun was destroyed before you came into this issue?
I knew. I went in blind. Like I knew nothing about Iron Fist except for like what I've learned from Wikipedia and the TV show.
Yeah.
I've never read an Iron Fist. Just one of those characters where you're like, I've never been sure what he did, and the look of him just never like. I was never like, oh, this guy in a green and yellow tracksuit, he looks cool. With a glowing hand.
I mean, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the show actually like when I saw like a dude with a metal pipe like bash his hand and then like the pipe break in half, I was like, oh, actually that's pretty cool. Like the stuff he can do with it, like heal people. I was like, that's kind of cool, but yeah. I didn't get any of that here.
Yeah, I know it's well, see, I've read some of the Iron Man and Iron Fist and Power Man series that kind of just ended for Marvel before they separated these two again. And I don't remember in probably like the 8 issues that I read of that book, I don't really remember any any really mention of Kunlun being destroyed or Danny losing his power, not having really connection or being able to power his chi. So that kind of all took me by surprise in this issue. And I don't know if that's something that's picking up from a solo Iron Fist story that ended maybe a year or so ago or not. But from what I was able to dig up on research, it just kind of feels like that's the way they're starting the story.
Yeah, Ed Brisson just wants to start like fresh. new everything. Like now,
yeah. Like that's the new status quo.
Yeah. I'll follow the old continuity, but I'm gonna create my own story from the get. Like maybe stuff in between series didn't like this is stuff like it's gonna be start off with stuff that happened in between the series. But I mean, man, the one thing I hate more than anything, and it's a classic thing, like a trope they do with superheroes is let's depower them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's nothing worse than a depowered superhero. Like if I wanted to, I don't want to see my superhero be a regular guy. Like that's why I read a superhero comic. Like that's like an X-Men story where they immediately knock out Professor Xavier at the beginning. Like, oh, we got to knock out the most powerful guy, or like,
ugh, I hate that. All right. Well, as we get into this issue, that kind of sets the tone for what we're talking about, because we see a hooded man, and he walks into a rundown warehouse, and we find out he's in Varna, Bulgaria. He has a few stacks of cash strapped in a bag around his shoulder, and he walks in there basically challenging everyone there that's willing to fight to a fight, basically to the surprise of everybody around. So, our hooded figure is obviously revealed to be Danny Rand. He proceeds to unleash hell on everybody He's scheduled to fight in the building there. And there are some cartoonish looking dudes if you kind of page along and go through the beginning of this book. They have muscles on muscles, but their faces are ugly as all sin.
Yeah, especially the guy on the left.
Yeah, and then I mean we get some brutal kung fu action to kind of kick things off.
I like that.
So you get the idea. Yeah, Danny doesn't have really his Iron Fist power per se, but he still
Kicking
has.
ass.
Yeah, he still knows all the kung fu in the world.
I really like that beginning page where it says the trial of the seven masters, and then it'll show him like kicking someone's face, and then it'll have the writer's name, and he's breaking someone's arm. You know, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good like tile sequence introduction to basically what we're getting into in the story. So we pick up from Danny just whooping everybody's ass to basically him and this fight organizer talking with each other, and this organizer is pissed that he basically allowed Danny to kick everyone's ass. He's like, I got no fighters left here. He's like,
what did he think?
Yeah, I don't know. You agree to let all your fighters fight one dude and they all lose. What?
Yeah, I know. You're like,
what did you think was going to be the end result? You're going to have fighters left? I don't. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
No, nobody who's unsure of themselves walks in, plops down $1 million, and says, "I want to fight all you guys at once." I'd be like, well,
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I would take that bet if I was the fight organizer too. But how are you pissed off when all your dudes lose? Like, because he's pissed off everybody lose. He has nobody left to do any more fights with. It's just a weird, like, yeah, if you take the bet and you lose all your fighters, you're not going to have anyone left to fight, dude. I don't know what you thought was going to happen.
and here's a question I had, like, now I never, like, you never see this guy like mess with the bag. Like, the bag stays in the same place the whole time. Like, he knocks these guys out mad quick, takes the bag and leaves. Like, he put down $1 million to bet. Now, when he won, did he just take his $1 million back and walk away? Like, he didn't get any money from this guy, right? So, like, what is this guy really pissed? I mean, his guys did get beat up. They'll get up eventually.
They mentioned what the deal was. I didn't pay great attention to what they said. But the guy basically would have got the money, and Danny would have he just wanted information. He wants to figure out what's going on. He doesn't give a shit about money.
Danny would have died, right? Because these are fights to the death, because like what gets him into it is like he sees that like there's a fight going on when he first walks in, and the guy who is fighting, like one of the promoter's guys, like snaps the dude's neck. So obviously it's like a fight, like you could die in these fights, you know?
Yeah, he's not. He's not in what he's doing for the money. He's trying to get information and he's looking for probably an individual in particular, but he's not really sure who. Because when the fight promoter asks him, what the hell did you come here for if you don't want money? He's like, what are you looking for? And Danny replies, whatever it is, it's not here.
Yeah.
As he kind of walks out the building. So he's not looking for money. He's looking kind of, for
perspective,
something to happen when he goes to these places, or he's looking for an individual. He's not really sure who. You kind of get the idea.
Yeah. I think he's looking to find like some solace after like Kunlun and losing his, like, he doesn't know who he is, where he stands right now.
Yeah.
Because like, without Kunlun and the Shaolao thing, the dragon that gives him his power, like, what is he?
Yeah, that's basically what we get to in the next scene here, because he hops on this plane to go to his next location, and he gets stuck next to what everyone's worst nightmare is on a plane, and that's either the creepy old dude or a baby. So he ends up getting the creepy old dude, which wants to talk his ear off on the plane, and Danny excuses himself. Kind of goes to the bathroom and has like a mini identity crisis in the mirror where you get some background information and some hints without them just flat out saying what's happened. You get some hints revealing kind of what's going on here, that he can't really connect with the Iron Fist, and that the city is in ruins or destroyed by somebody, but we don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, I think that's Kunlun in the background when you just see him in the second panel down from when he's looking at himself in the mirror, and then he sees himself, and then he sees Iron Fist. Like, it's a duality. Like, he doesn't know if he's Danny Rand. Is he Iron Fist? Like, what is he without Kunlun? Like, he's having a big identity crisis.
Yeah, that's basically what's, the first half of the book. That's the idea you get. He basically is flying to, just another fight location where he can test his skills. And you get some more information while he's taking part in this fight. He reveals he's disconnected. He can't use his powers. He's testing his skills basically to try to find a challenge, and he's not really finding one. He lets these dudes kind of beat on him to make it seem kind of like a challenge to himself, but even that doesn't. He's kind of looking for a rush. He's not finding basically in these fights. Not challenged, and it's kind of just frustrating him and really pissing him off. So after that fight scene ends, you just get just some more inner monologue from Danny, and he's kind of stuck in a hotel room.
I like that one thing he says, like when he turns the fight and he stops getting his ass kicked and he starts kicking the other guy's ass, and he's like, I feel like I'm always punching down. Like these fights are nothing to me. Like nothing's ever a challenge.
Yeah. He's looking for something he can't find. All these fights aren't obviously it. In his hotel room, he tries to connect to his Iron Fist power. You see him trying to charge his fist, and it's not really working, kind of like how it would in the show at points.
Like fizzles out.
Yeah, you see flashes of the city on fire and in ruins.
And he looks like he's crying a little too.
Yeah. And you get the idea further here. He really gives zero shits about his money because he just kind of flings it across the room in frustration.
It's everywhere. It's like on the bed, on the floor. It's like
like it's just a means to get him places. It's not anything he cares about.
He's a billionaire. You don't give a fuck.
So then we get images of Danny at this bar. He's trying to drown his sorrows in what looks like to be a bottle of Jack Daniels. And this Chinese kung fu looking dude kind of approaches him, I guess.
Cambodian Jack Daniels.
It's probably like some cheap ripoff that's terrible. I mean, that'll be a hangover that is for the ages if you drink that bottle to that.
Your head right open.
Yeah. Like he's like, I just want to sit here and drink and worry about a hangover in the morning. I would not want to worry about that hangover. That would be incapacitating. Like you're drinking like Malaysian version of Jack Daniels. There's probably some shit in there you don't want to even know about.
Oh God, who knows? Like gold penis or something.
Don't they have like snake vodka over there or something? That's like a drink.
I mean, they fry up caterpillars and eat them on food trucks on the street. Like they're insane. What do you?
I had a roommate when I lived in Maryland. He was Filipino, and he lived over there till he was like 10. And he would tell me about like the crazy rum that his dad would drink and shit. Stumbling home because like it's just like unfiltered, raw, strong as hell.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
probably make you trip a little on top of being drunk.
yeah, it was straight up the bottom of the barrel rum, probably thick. Nah. Anyway, as Danny's at the bar, he gets approached by this dude that we mentioned, and his name is Cho Shin, and he is from Li Shu, and basically he starts talking to Danny, and Danny's trying to shoo him away. And then he kind of pulls this Kill Bill move on Danny that sends Danny flying across the room, and finally it kind of wakes Danny up out of his pity party that he's having, and he's like, "Oh shit, that actually hurt," He's like, "Who is this dude?" It kind of wakes him up a little bit. So they kind of exchange some karate moves back and forth.
I love the call out of all the moves.
Yeah,
like everything.
I mean, the first one totally reminded me of like the ending move in Kill Bill.
Upward cannon punch.
I forget what they call it.
Oh, I think it was like the 5-finger death punch or something like that.
Yeah, like the first move he does to Danny, I'm like, oh fuck, he just Kill Billed him. That dude's dead. But he's not. And they go back and forth with a few like different labeled moves like upward cannon punch and side shatter kick. things like that. And basically, this dude, Cho Shin,
Tales.
says to Danny, he's like, listen, if we keep fighting, you're gonna eventually beat me. He's like, but I'm here to offer you this chance, to fight in a real fight that you've been looking for. This all catches Danny off guard because he's like, who are you? I don't know of this place. I don't really know. I mean, you know what I'm looking for, but I don't know how you know this. It's all this ancient mystical stuff going on.
Like, who sent? Like, someone had to send you. Like, how do you know exactly the place I'm in right now, what I need, where I need to go? Like, how do you know what I'm looking for? Not alone, like, know where I am. Like,
yeah. Like the guy basically doesn't answer his questions in classic kung fu tradition. He's just like, well, if you want to find out, come with me to this place, and maybe you'll find out, maybe you won't.
Danny's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, since Danny's wandering Asia and Europe lost, he's gonna tag along with this dude, and on his way to Lin Shu to fight in this tournament, I guess, and maybe get his, Danny gets his chi back, I guess. Is what we're moving to.
I'm assuming that's what we're gonna get, because in the letter in the back, I mean, maybe I think we're gonna, I think we're getting backstory next, but I think this is gonna lead to him being the Iron Fist again. Like, why, why wouldn't it? This is probably the whole entire first 6 issues, like Danny getting back the Iron Fist, and I think the next issue is gonna be flashbacks, because in the letter in the back, I forget if it was the artist or if it was Ed Brisson, when he was like, for everybody thinking like, oh, is he not going to be in the Iron Fist costume like this whole entire first arc? He's like, don't worry, we got a lot of him in the costume in the next issue. So maybe a flashback, or maybe he puts it on at the tournament. I mean, I doubt that. I mean, he didn't in the first place.
All right. Well, that's the end of the issue. I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger of Danny on this boat approaching this new mystical island he's never heard of, with this mystery dude who's tracked him down. So I mean, it was a quick issue. I read it in literally probably like 8 minutes. To be honest
me too.
With you.
Like 10 minutes.
So we'll let you know what we think. You know how we do things. We tell you to buy it, to borrow it, or to forget it altogether. I'll kick things off here. I think you went first last week.
Yeah.
I'm personally a fan of kung fu stories, and if you are, I think there are things in this that you'll enjoy. It definitely has a cliche kung fu feel to it to start things off. The art has its moments. I'll say I liked portions of it, and there were some portions of it I didn't really enjoy too much. But it is very gruesome, and when they do get to the fighting aspect of things, it looks very cool, I think. Some of the faces look like trash, but I think they're supposed to. They're like beat up dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that's the look they're going for or not. But to me, just to start off for a first issue, the story is real thin. Like I said, we read it real quick, and it's kind of like a cliche Batman Begins type feel to this beginning. As he's wandering through Asia looking for himself, trying to find something he's not really sure of, and then this guy comes along and kind of offers him exactly what he's looking for. So basically, because of those reasons, I would rate it as a borrow. There was nothing super exciting about it, but there wasn't anything to make me hate the book and not want to read the next issue to see if I like it a little more. I just hope that they answer some of the backstory questions I have, because I'm tired of books kind of starting with this time skip that sometimes stories address and sometimes they don't, because if this book doesn't go beyond 5 or 6 issues, which it potentially has the ability to not, then you just don't ever find the answer to those questions, and you're left hanging. And if the next writer wants to address it, they will. Otherwise, they won't. And that kind of sucks. So I like it as a borrow. What do you think overall?
All right. Well, I mean, I like the art a little bit. It's pretty good. It could use a little bit of work. I love kung fu stories, but like you said, it does feel like a Batman Begins type of deal, and there's really not much. I mean, I just don't like the way they started off to begin with, and
Yeah.
uh, Ed Brisson. I if you've read his Bullseye, that's not that great either. I think this is about the best we're probably gonna get. And I mean, does that sound bad? Does that sound harsh? I mean,
No.
it's a bar for me because it could be better and it could get better. Like, maybe you want to check it out if you get a chance for free, if a friend has a code, or if you know a place where you could snag a copy for free. But I read this book twice in all of 15 minutes. Like, I read it so fast the first time that I went through it again because I was like, I couldn't believe how fast I went through it. And nah. it's a borrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I mean, there's nothing there to make you hate it, but it's just like, yeah, if I buy an Iron Fist #1 story, I would kind of want to read about Iron Fist. He has a tradition of kind of being like a jokey, silly character, like Spider-Man a little bit.
And here he's like the sad drunk.
Yeah, and you get the opposite feel in the story, and then it really throws you off, especially if you've been reading Power Man and Iron Fist, where he's like this jovial dude that keeps Luke Cage in check when he gets too down in the dumps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a totally different feel from the other book that he was just in, and it depends on what type of Iron Fist book you're looking for. If you're looking for the funny, silly, jokey Iron Fist that'll go on a fun adventure, this wouldn't be the one for you. If you're looking for a like we both said, a Batman Begins-ish type feel to an Iron Fist type story, then this one would be up your alley.
I don't this guy I don't know much about Ed Brisson. I mean, I think it was IDW, he wrote Sons of Anarchy, like, comic book version, but other than that, like, I don't know. I couldn't really find too much of anything else he wrote, so I don't know much about him, but I know he's going to be doing Old Man Logan. But all I know is, like, what I've seen from him so far, I'm just not, like, completely crazy over. Maybe there are people out there who are, but I mean, maybe it could get better. Maybe he's just trying to find his place and footing at Marvel. Maybe this title's just not for him. But time will tell. A little worried about Old Man Logan.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. I'm nervous for that to leave Lemire's hands. I'm gonna check out, because the art still looks good, even though it's not Sorrentino. I'm going to check out how it starts, but
it's Deodato.
If it doesn't keep up its quality, I'm not going to continue buying it, just because, like, the Lemire one, I feel like will come to a decent ending, and if you want to ignore what's after it, you probably could.
Which is cool. Which is really cool.
Yeah, I like when that happens. Anyway, let's stay on topic. We will talk about a new Marvel book next week. We always put the poll up on Monday, so check out my Twitter page. You can find me there at BMUR MUR 3660, and put your vote in. Let us know what you want us to talk about for next week. If you're looking for Trevitt online, you want to holler at him about his opinion or check out his poll of the week. Trevitt, where can they find you at, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Afronaddict, on Instagram at Trevitt's Comics. That's it, I think.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what I want at Taco Bell. Someone just sent me a text message.
Throwing you off.
Yeah. Threw me off, like, right off.
They don't have the naked chicken chalupa anymore.
I miss the chili cheese burritos.
I always like I don't hate the Dorito tacos they have, but if you don't eat them there, they get soggy by the time you get them home, and they're no good.
Yeah, they don't travel well.
Yeah, they don't at all. So that's it for us, guys. Like I said, you know where to find us. Vote on the poll for Marvel Monday polls. We both do a what's it called? Mixler show. I'm on Mondays. Trevitt's on Saturdays. So tune in there if you want to hear us a little more. And that's it. We will holler at you guys next week. Party's over. Adios.